President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi receives his Algerian counterpart Abdelmajid Tebboune in Cairo. Egypt's foreign minister denounces Israel's control over the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing. And the Egyptian Prime Minister follows the developments in Ras Al Hikma project. You're now watching the latest updates in Egypt on Qnews. And moving on for the latest developments. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has received his Algerian counterpart Abdelmajid Tebboune at Al Ittihadiyya Palace. An official reception ceremony was held for Egypt's honored guests, with the national anthem of both countries played and a review of honor gods. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Egyptian expatriates Badr Abdulati has denounced the Israeli army's obstruction of humanitarian aid into Gaza, its control over the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing and its undermining of humanitarian relief organization and its targeting of UN workers. In a call with Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa, Abdelati addressed the dangerous situation in the West Bank in light of systemic Israeli violations and transgression and condemned Israeli attacks on the West Bank. He also condemned attempts to legitimize and expand settlement outposts in violation of Security Council resolutions and international law. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has renewed Egypt's condemnation of all unilateral and provocation measures and policies that threaten the security and stability of the region. Abdelati stressed in a call with his Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi the need to prevent escalation, take steps that contribute to achieving calm, and not drag the region into a regional war that would lead to dire consequences for the region. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Abu Bakr Hifni Mahmoud and Secretary General of the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs Anne-Marie Decaux have exchanged views on the latest developments in the Middle East and the ongoing Israeli aggression on Gaza and Lebanon. During his participation in the conference in support of the people and sovereignty of Lebanon, Mahmoud emphasized Egypt's call for an end to the ongoing escalation in the region and condemned Israeli violations against the Palestinian and Lebanese peoples. He highlighted Egypt's relentless efforts to achieve a ceasefire in both Gaza and Lebanon. For further analysis on the visit of Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune to Egypt, we are joined by Editor-in-Chief of Egypt's Al Ahram newspaper, Ashraf Al-Ashri. Good evening to you, sir.
Welcome. Welcome to you and your audience.
Thank you so much. And how do you view the Algerian President's visit to Cairo at this very crucial time in the region?
Definitely, this visit has a paramount importance within the framework of a high-level establishment of the Algerian-Egyptian relations that started in the past 10 years when the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi paid his first visit after being in the office in Egypt as the first Arab capital he visited. Since then, he started to establish high-level Egyptian-Algerian relations for the coordination of the stances and opening a new page of relations after it was disrupted before. And in the first 10 for the first time in the past 10 years, there is a great leap and paradigm shift in the bilateral relations in different fields, including investment, economic development, and cooperation, in addition to increasing the level of strategic partnership between both countries regarding the political issues in relation to the Arab world and MENA region.
Yes.
There was a high degree of agreement to elevate the relations during the first visit of Abdelmajid Tebboune, the president of Algeria, when he visited Egypt 2 years ago in May 2022, because new features were drawn up for the relations of Egypt and Algeria that supports the bilateral cooperation in terms of similar point of views regarding the Arab and regional issues, because both countries played a great role in an Arab-Arab consensus, and Syria was returned to the League of Arab States when Algeria was the president of the Arab Summit in cooperation with Egypt, that has a pioneering role in the Arab world. Also, they cooperate regarding the African issues because they both have similar visions regarding Libya and Sudan and the situation in Africa in general. That's why the relations at the bilateral level were developed at the level of Arab-Arab relations and Arab-African relations. So this visit is a continuation of cooperation and consensus in many issues regarding cooperation and Middle East issues, and the efforts also exerted by Egypt in Gaza and South Lebanon.
Yes, Mr. Ashraf, you summed everything all, but let me here divide what you said into sections. Now, Egypt definitely and Algeria are two very powerful regional powers. From your point of view, how can collaboration and cooperation between Egypt and Algeria contribute to resolving current crises in the Middle East?
Definitely, there is similarity in the Egyptian-Algerian stances regarding the explosive issues in the region. The most outstanding of them are the events in Gaza and for a whole year, and the events in Lebanon. Of course, Algeria and all the Arab and regional and international parties are fully confident, not only convinced, that the pivotal role in extinguishing the fire of this war can be only performed by Egypt for its high level of strategic pivotal country in this region that has many solutions and deals to extinguish the fire of the conflict between the Arabs and the Palestinians with Israel. The Egyptian state managed to stop lots of the aggression by Israel against Gaza Strip, and in the recent crisis, the government of Cairo performed a very diplomatic and political role, and they hosted indirect negotiations in cooperation with Qatar and the United States.
Yes, but here we are, Mr. Ashraf, we're speaking, or we're emphasizing actually two powerful countries and their resolve or ability to solve crises, particularly in the Middle East. And let's speak also about their ability to resolve the crises also in Africa.
Definitely, Algeria is a UN Security Council member state representing the Arab and African countries, and there is an Egyptian-Algerian agreement regarding the African issues and the developments that takes place in many African countries in Sahel and Sub-Saharan region to eradicate terrorism, because the points of views of both Egypt and Algeria are the same regarding eliminating terrorism. There are Algerian-Egyptian efforts to solve many problems related to the crisis in Libya. There is an Algerian-Egyptian agreement over the past few years, and there is also an Algerian-Egyptian agreement in solving the Sudanese issues. There is also an Algerian-Egyptian approach that was agreed upon in the past period, and they will be supported in this summit in Cairo today and tomorrow.
Yes, looking forward. We're looking forward for those 2 days visit. That was editor-in-chief of Egypt's Al Ahram newspaper, Ashraf Al-Ashri. Thank you so much for your valuable insights. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has held a meeting to discuss European mechanism for carbon border adjustment as part of the efforts to promote the competitiveness of Egyptian exports. The meeting was attended by key officials and ministers, including Deputy Prime Minister Kamil al-Wazir and Minister Dr. Rania al-Mashat. The meeting highlighted collaborative efforts among ministries to support compliance with carbon border adjustments and enhance exports' competitiveness. The Wazir stated that the strategy will prioritize reducing the carbon footprint of economic sectors with the intention of activating energy efficiency in the industrial sector. Al-Mashat highlighted some activities, including grants to support industrial sectors to implement carbon borders adjustments. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has held a meeting to follow up on the latest developments in the implementation of the first phase of Ras Al Hikma city development projects, as well as the status of compensations allocated to the residents of the area. The Prime Minister's spokesman, Councillor Mohammed Al-Hamusani, stated that the meeting focused on the progress of key infrastructure projects, including the main and secondary road networks. Discussions also covered various aspects of development in the alternative area of Shams Al Hikma, which encompasses residential, commercial and service zones, as well as open spaces. Additionally, the meeting addressed the allocation of land for the establishment of an experimental school in Shams Al Hikma. Health Minister Khalid Abdel Ghaffar has followed up on the progress in establishing the Ain al-Sukhna Emergency Hospital. The minister also offered all possible forms of support to finish the project, which is set to be completed by 2025. The project is expected to provide citizens in the governorate with the necessary medical support. Minister of Health and Population Khalid Abdel Ghaffar has announced that the total number of services provided by the Bidaya initiative since its launch has reached 71,475,812 services. During the past 4 days, the initiative provided 8,776,993 services, with 36,049 benefiting from the initiative services in the field of women's empowerment and training through 231 services and activities. 5.5 tons of meat and food supplies were distributed, reaching 5,507 families. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here is what we've been covering. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi receives his Algerian counterpart Abdelmajid Tebboune in Cairo. Egypt's foreign minister denounces Israel's control over the Palestinian side of Rafah crossing. And the Egyptian Prime Minister follows up developments in the Ras Al Hikma project. Well, this brings us to the end of our bulletin. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at Qnews EGY for the latest developments. Many thanks for watching.